I'm so excited for our next guest. Her name is Lianna Rebolledo. She's a pro-life advocate and the founder of a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping survivors of abuse. She has a story that is the definition of inspirational. It's an extreme honor to have her with us today. Can you please help me welcome Lianna Rebolledo to the stage?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I don't hear you. How's everybody doing today? All right, all right. Now I can feel the energy. Who's here for the first time? Well, let's give it up for them. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Laila. Thank you, everyone who's made this event possible. It's an honor for me. I feel so humble to be here today. But I would like to start to ask you something. I want you to think for a moment, if you were get pregnant from rape, what would you do? Have you ever thought that it could happen to you? No, right? We think it happens to a lot of people that we don't know. It just happens on the news. And we kind of got used to listening to those news, or not. There's so much violence everywhere. Let me share with you a little bit of my story. I'm from Mexico City. I'm a Latina, and when I was only 12 years old, I came to the United States with my mom. My mom, she ran away from my father, an alcoholic, and he used to abuse my mom. And she left to Chicago, but then she came back to Mexico and she brought me to Los Angeles. And a few months after I got here, I was walking just to know the area. I wanted to know the neighborhood. And that's when two guys, they were driving and they stopped and they asked me if I knew this address. I don't remember, which I didn't know, but at that moment I was just thinking. And in a few seconds, they took me in the back of the car. And like I say, you hear on the news, you hear on TV, but you never think it's gonna happen to you. And then I was wondering, what do they want from me? Money? I don't have any money. Why would they take me? What are they gonna do with me? So when I was in the back of this car, I was crying, I was begging. I didn't know what was gonna happen to me, and I didn't know if I was gonna go back home. So I don't think even now I had the right words to express the fear that I was going through, because these two people, these two men, they not only kidnapped me, they raped me over and over. They cut my face because I would not stop screaming. And I really thought they were going to kill me. I knew violence because I grew up with violence from my dad. But that is the worst humiliation that you could do to a human being, because it happens to a man too, not just to a woman. It happens to a man too. But so they left me for dead. When they found me, they thought that I wasn't alive. And what can you tell to a person who has been beaten, sexually abused, and is only 12 years old? How can you tell somebody that everything is gonna be okay? My mom was not prepared to help me. She was dealing with her own issues. And unfortunately, back in those days, there was no internet. We didn't know where to go, where to ask for help. Who can help you? Who can tell you what to do? I didn't know that there were nonprofits, that there were group supports. We didn't know the legal system like anybody. But unfortunately, there was people around us that they told me, oh, poor thing, your life is over. Nobody's gonna love you. Nobody's gonna like you. You are not worth it anymore. It was your fault. what were you wearing? But you know what? Those comments, they were mostly for women. What were you wearing? A 12-year-old. Like if it was my fault, like if I asked for. And they told me that my life was ruined. So when you hear those words, instead of hope, kindness, that everything is going to be okay, there's no point to keep going. So I wanted to end my life. I had nightmares. I couldn't even eat. I was feeling so guilty, like I was worthless. I was feeling so dirty. Especially I was feeling shame, like I deserve it. And so I remember that night, I took all the medication, all these pills, because I just didn't want to go on. And that's when they rushed me to the hospital again. And when I was there, the doctor, he said, "Did you know that you are pregnant? You had 13 weeks pregnancy. My heart was so numb. I had so much pain. But when I hear pregnancy, I just knew that I had a baby inside of me. And I was not even afraid. I was still going through the rape trauma. And he said, "You don't have to live with the consequences. The law is on your side. Abortion is legal. You don't want to keep this product. It's going to be a reminder of what happened to you." And then you wonder, like, why he's not telling me, "Let me help you. What do you need? Let's get you to a shelter or get some legal advice, help." Nothing. He was just saying, "Okay, the product is not going to make it. You're only 12 years old. But like I said, you could have an abortion because it's legal." So then I asked, "So if I have an abortion, will this take away my nightmares?" And he said, "No." And then I said, "So if I have an abortion, I'm going to be able to go outside and not be afraid anymore?" He said, "No." And then I asked him, "So if I had the abortion, will this undo the rape?" And he goes, "No, it's not." So then I'm thinking, okay, if I cannot handle the trauma from the rape, how I'm going to survive taking the life of my child if it's not going to take away the rape and it's not going to undo it? But I never considered abortion anyways, but I was just hoping that he will offer help, and they didn't. And he looked kind of upset, like, what is she thinking? How is she going to deal with this? And then he said, "Why would you want a child? It's going to be a reminder." But I thought, but it's inside of me. It's nobody else. It's my baby. It has my blood. It has my genes. So it's nobody else but my baby. I grew up very lonely. So I just knew that having this baby, I wasn't going to be alone anymore. And why would I give my baby the death penalty for a crime that somebody else did? So they did an ultrasound. They never showed me. I didn't know I can ask to see. But the lady, she told me, "Can you hear the heartbeat of your baby?" And I was like, "Yes." So when I realized that this baby was real and it had a heartbeat, this little tiny person growing inside of me, it was nobody else but my baby, I realized that I needed this baby because I needed hope. And this baby deserved to live. And it was my baby, nobody else. So that's when I knew. I didn't know how. I didn't have a plan. It's not like what are you going to do? How are you going to raise this baby? How are you going to support the baby? Or what are you going to do with your life? But I knew that this little person needed a better life than one that I have. And I'm not going to lie. It was very hard. But it was definitely worth it. Because after 78 hours of labor, they decided that I needed a C-section. And that's how I got to meet the love of my life. And just to see her little face, I realized that this little person, she became the light that I needed at the end of the tunnel. And she didn't remind me of anybody. She reminded me that love is stronger than any violence. I just knew that I had to work, put myself to school and work 14 hours a day, 2 jobs. Yeah, it was not easy raising a kid by yourself, being a kid. We were homeless at one point. We needed so much help. But when my daughter, I named her Jeanette Olivia. When she was 4 years old, she told me, "Mommy, thank you for not giving me away. Thank you for giving me my life." That's when I realized that she was the one who gave me my life back. Because she's not a second-class citizen because the way she was conceived. She doesn't work less, you know. And you wonder, is there a difference? Most of us, we were not planned, I'm sure. We were just not expected that we were here. And I'm sure our parents didn't know what to do. Because even if you are married, you are mature enough, you're always afraid. You don't know what are you going to do. But it all comes from here, from your heart. And it's just in your instincts. It's not like you know. You just go one day at a time and you're learning. And that's how I raised my daughter. And she became this beautiful woman that went to school. She started to work when she was 14. I wanted to show her that you can accomplish anything you want, that we were not victims anymore, that we were going to prove wrong to all these people who were telling us or were telling me that my life was destroyed. I wanted to tell them that they were wrong, that I didn't consider myself a victim, that I was a survivor, because I know a lot of the girls don't come back home. I came home, and with the best gift that the life could give me, which was my child. Jeanette found out because she realized that mommy was struggling with stress, PTSD, stress post-traumatic, that I didn't know back in those days, that's what I was dealing with. But her love helped me to heal all the pain that I was going through. And honestly, I would not change that date. Nobody should go through that, definitely. Nobody. I'm not saying that it's okay to conceive and rape. It's a horrible thing that I had to endure being a kid. But definitely, having my daughter, it's been worth it. Every single day was worth it. She showed me what real love was. And she showed me that every day we had the opportunity to start over. And it's just about our attitude. How are we going to overcome whatever it happens to us? And everyone has a story. Everyone has a story to tell. And some are more difficult than other ones, but definitely it's worth living and trying every single day. Jenny finished her career as an accountant. She finished her university, and she created her own nonprofit because she wanted to help. She told me, "Mommy, this is why I was born. This is my mission." So she was helping nonprofits, delivering diapers, delivering baby clothes, all they needed, because she didn't want anybody to feel lonely. I didn't even have a baby shower, and I remember I told her once, "I'm so sorry because I didn't even have money to have enough clothes." And she's like, "But look at me, I don't need anything. You gave me the most important thing, which was my life." And just being that, how kind she was, it was just an example for me. And then she also was delivering food to homeless. She would go to Skid Row, even if it was raining. I wouldn't have done it. But and I wouldn't. And eventually I did, because I used to follow her. I used to go with her. But I was like, oh my God, everybody has a different gift. And that was her gift. going to all these downtown LA streets, and she would tell everybody who was volunteering, be careful, do not get too close. They might be on drugs, and they might be infected by something, or they might be very violent. So we want to stay together, and we want to make sure they know kindness. We had to show this world that we need kindness. Or she was taking clothes to women's shelters. She wanted to make a difference, and she used to tell me, this is my mission. This is what I want to do, help people. I don't want people to feel lonely or feel bullied or discriminated, because that's the way I was discriminated, by being a single teen mom. And people will say, oh my God, you started so soon, right? But I never really cared about those comments. My daughter was more important than anything. I didn't care what they think about me. At the beginning, yeah, it did hurt me. But eventually you grow up, and then you learn how to deal with it. And she was going to get married. And she had this car accident where eventually she went to the hospital, and that's where we find out that she was diagnosed with something that is called neurofibromatosis, which means that it's an illness that is genetic, and it's your brain create tumors. And she had more than 20. And the neurologist, he told her, I don't know how you survive all this time. So when she told me, I didn't even think that was like really bad. But eventually she got really ill, and unfortunately she passed away a few years. I know, you guys are gonna say, what a sad story. And it is, but it also, to me, it's a happy ending, even though you might not understand why I say so. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a struggle surviving without her. I lost my purpose, and if you ask me what was worse, if the kidnapping and rape or losing her. But I remember that she used to tell me, get up and prove, show the courage, show who you are, and never give up. And that's why I'm standing here today. Thank you. I'm not gonna say it's easy. I cry every single day because I miss her. But even though I wasn't raised with any religion, eventually I find out that God is always with me. When I was in this car with these two people, with these two men, I pray to God, if you really exist, help me to get out of here. Help me to come home. And I thought he didn't exist, or he didn't even want me, because I thought he left those people hurt me. But now I know it's not like that. Through the years, I met Eduardo Verástegui, going to the abortion clinics, doing WAC counseling, and a lady told me that this priest wanted to know me. His name is Father Juan Rivas, and he wanted to know what I was doing outside the clinics. And that's when I told him about my life, Eduardo found out about my life, and giving counseling to girls helped me to heal, because I didn't want to share this. But my priest and Eduardo, they encouraged me that I needed to talk about it, even for my daughter Janae, that she needed to talk about her story. And she used to tell me, I have my own story, I have my side too that I want to share eventually. And so I realized in those moments through Father Juan, that I was not alone that night, that he was always there, because otherwise I would not make it. They would have killed me. So I knew he was right there holding me. And I came home with this big gift, which was my baby girl. And you know what? The doctor was right. She was a reminder, but he was wrong also, because she was a reminder of love. She never reminded me about these two people that I don't even know. She reminded me that she had her own dignity, that she has a value, And she came for a reason to this world, and because of her, I need to fight for her dignity and tell all this feminism, all these people that are using my story, that if you went through a rape, you had to have an abortion. Honestly, us, that we had that situation, we don't have an abortion. Most of us kept our babies. It's just a lie, because abortion, it's a business, and they're just making money with our pain, and that's not okay. And that's why I'm standing here to tell them that they're so wrong, and we're gonna keep fighting for every single life, because even if the abortion, it's legal, we had to make abortion unthinkable, even in the cases of rape. Let's not punish the wrong person. Let's not punish the babies. We need to punish the rapists. And that's why today, when you go home, I really want you to make a difference and do something and show kindness, because like me, I didn't need an abortion. I needed support. That's what we need, love and kind and support. Thank you so much for being here today. But if you save one life, you are saving the whole world. Just remember that. How much is a life cost? What's the price? About a single life. Today I'm sending kisses to heaven, because I know she's watching over me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.